Hey, Rob, good to see you.
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm into 2021 and I'm feeling really good about that for
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of the things are a little bit brighter today than they were last year.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah,
Hey, I actually wanted to spend a minute with you on 2020 because you've been a member of the Roundtable now for a while, few years,
yeah,
and you came into 2020, with a pretty clear path, which got muddied up very quickly, and I was so impressed with how you, and probably some of your team, you took a look at what was going on, and you guys pivoted very quickly and moved into a little bit of a different direction, which turned out to be a pretty fantastic 2020. Can you talk about that for a minute?
sure. So I've been in for the past, I don't know, 18 months or so working with private equity, part of an organization that acts as an advisor to private equity funds and to their managed companies. And coming into 2020, before COVID was COVID, we had a very high bar that we had set for ourselves based upon years of experience, because this is nearly a 20-year-old business unit. And what became clear as we got to the end of Q1 was the world was going to be vastly different, and that had a knock-on effect to certainly our business plans. And working with the organizations that we do with private equity and with investment funds, they have a longer holding period. They have a greater tolerance for risk in some regards, because they're looking at an acquisition for a period of 3 to 5 to 7 years. And so a 1 year event or a half-year event is something that they were comfortable with, but they certainly paused or slowed down a lot of the intentional work that had been scheduled.
Mhm.
But what we began to see happen in the second half of the year was a significant shift towards optimism, forward momentum, and by the end of the year, it was back to full steam. And I think that's what you're going to see in 2021 is there is going to be a bounce in that mid-market space, certainly in the private equity and the finance space, as companies look to optimize, either acquire things or optimize businesses and prepare them for perhaps another sell. And that's where we've been focusing our efforts.
Yeah, that's terrific, and I hope you continue to see that ramp. Just keep moving right on up. I do think, even for the businesses that aren't doing that, that are just trying to do their business, getting through to 2021 has given them a different perspective and a direction that they're looking to head into for 2021. So I think it'll be an interesting year. May not
Correct.
be fun every day, but it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Rob, as I said, you've been with us now for a few years, but when I look at you, I think of you actually as a Renaissance man. I mean, you've been everywhere, right? You've traveled the world. You've been with the really big boys in terms of business. You've been a startup, right? I mean, and a number of points in between.
Yeah.
What was it about Roundtable that attracted a person like you to want to be part of it?
One of the things I've learned over my decades of career is that whether you're in the operator seat, whether you're a chief officer, a business leader, if you're an owner or founder of a company, or if you're in the process of growing a business or a service line or a practice, a common line, a common theme throughout all of it is revenue, because revenue is everybody's
Yeah,
business.
that's right.
And I think that's where, when you look at how the revenue officer and the CRO roundtable helps, I'm able to interact with people who have different disciplines and different backgrounds to keep my mind's eye on that common theme, on revenue generation, on profitability, on making certain that whatever organization I'm part of is focused on doing the right things with their time, talent, and competencies. And that's one of the challenges I think a lot of people face, whether it's COVID or post COVID or just general business overall, is looking beyond just the job you think you're there to do, but realizing you're part of a larger organization that's generating revenue and profits and ultimately growing.
That's interesting perspective. A lot of people do not think that way. And I know they can tend to get themselves, tunneled in, and they got to be careful with that. And that, to me, is one of the things we offer, is that chance to open that up. So that,
I would encourage anybody to go start a company and be focused on revenue, and that will give you that sharper focus real quick, because
for
that
sure.
certainly helped me remind myself why I was in business.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, any words of advice to people that are listening to us right now, and they're saying, that might be something I'm interested in? What would you tell them to expect to get out of a roundtable membership?
Sure. So I think one of the key things that I find value is the different perspectives that you gain through the interactions.
Mhm.
And the interactions are not just a monthly or a weekly interaction or a Zoom call these days, or someday we'll be back in person, but the interactions beyond that. I've been able to connect with other members of the roundtable in different states and different countries now, and draw upon their experience and share my own, and expand my influence, my network, and my collective knowledge as a result. And I think that's one of the greater values that people get out of joining an organization like the CRO Roundtable, is you're able to focus on your business and amplify the benefits of others' experiences during the course of a normal business week or business month. And it's also great to sit down with people and listen to their challenges and share yours in a safe space, because it's a non-competitive, it's a confidential space,
Right.
and it helps you understand how your complexities are not that unique, and how others are able to solve or are challenged by and have other techniques to solve. And it's great to be in a room of peers. And I think that's one of the things that I find incredibly valuable, is that ability to share with a cohort what it is that I'm doing, what they're doing, and how we can collectively help each other.
Well, and I know everybody really seems to enjoy your insight and your perspective in that. So thanks. We really are glad to have you a part of it. It's a busy day. I'm sure you've got plenty on your plate at this point. I'm going to let you head off into that. Thanks for your time today.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Thomas, and make it a great year. Stay
You,
safe.
you do.